Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Bat League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a really strong team in the Sunshine Cup. If you actually put this team into pvpoke, this team comes across with A consistency, A for bulk, A for coverage, and A for safety. This team is just neutral or super effective across the board, and it works really well as a combination because you have Vigorove, which is super spammy in the front. Of course it is a little bit frail, but it is well worth it for that spamminess. It helps you get the shields off the opponent, and that can allow your back two Pokemon of Diggersby and Noctowl to close the match. Pretty much in this team, Diggersby is the damage sponge. You're probably going to see in this opening matchup catching a body slam on Diggersby, and even against things like Vigorove, you can get a shield, or you can basically knock them out with Earthquake. We're running this with Quick Attack. You can run it with Hyper Beam, but I recommend not doing so. I did run it with Hyper Beam for a couple of matches, but if you get it lined up against Galarian Stunfisk or Steelix, it's a bit of a rough one, especially with Quick Attack as the fast move. You're seeing the opponent here swapped into Noctowl. You would think, okay, Noctowl versus like a counter user, we're spamming off these body slams with Vigorove and then we swap out. That's what I've been using Vigorove for quite a lot. Whatever IVs I have on this thing, I'll put them up on screen obviously. I'm pretty much winning CMP all the time. I believe it's a rank 8, so it's not even like a really high attack weighted one, but that did work out quite well for me today. We're obviously in this Noctowl matchup and we're trying to leave with just a bunch of energy. But yeah, in general guys, super spammy Vigorove can deal with the steel types as well. Apparently Galarian Stunfisk actually does beat it, but it does not beat it comfortably. There's nothing really in this league apart from a few things that beat any of these Pokemon comfortably. I think we have a Jumpluff in here. We've got an invisible Jumpluff. It's using a brand new move. This is the move update for Season 13 guys. It's Invisibility Cloak, brand new move that these Pokemon have learned. Guys, I swear if we do not get a move update this season, it's coming up in a couple of weeks here, I'm not going to be happy. I'm sure a lot of people won't either. But this is kind of like an awkward match because I actually might lose this one because Energy Ball does a decent amount. Of course it is super effective on Diggersby. Jumpluff could be a good little closer in this cup, and like at this stage I don't even know if my switch timer's coming up or okay, I actually just took that out I think. Wait, what? Did I take it out or not? I'm really not sure what's going on here. You guys can let me know. But anyway, like I said, Vigorove is spamming off in the front. We've got Diggersby to deal with just pretty much everything. Fun fact about Diggersby, it wins the even shielding scenarios versus Noctowl going straight Fire Punch. With the quick attack damage, you can actually just match shields and beat Noctowl. I don't always use it like that, but if it is something that you end up getting stuck with, that is an option for you. At the very least, you can force a shield, or look to take out Noctowl with bulky Diggersby. A consideration is to use a good IV Diggersby, like a fully maxed XL1. This one I'm using is level like 47.5, but I preferred it over using the 15-15-15 one that I have, which of course is a lot more attack weighted. You get a lot of bulk points, which means you take less damage from the opponent's moves. I believe Alolan Ninetales with Powder Snow, it might even be Vigorove's counters and Noctowl's wing attacks, is a bulk point you get, even if you're not fully maxed out, so that's something to take into consideration. Even though this is not fully maxed out, I still have a couple more XL candies and a few more levels to put on it. This still worked a lot better than an attack weighted one, and I noticed in the matches beforehand, the lack of bulk was actually hurting a little bit. You're even seeing in this matchup right here versus Vigorove, like, we are able to take it out, like, it's not, you know, obviously super comfortable. I don't know why the opponent came in with Abomasnow there, but they did decide to do that. We're going to come in and outspam the Noctowl here with Vigorove, and then most likely swap into Noctowl to close this match. The opponent is shielded, and we're just a little bit ahead on health. Sometimes being a little bit ahead on health isn't always, like, going to win the match, though. It's a little bit dependent on energy here. I'm trying to get the overfarm here as well, if possible. My Noctowl is pretty attack weighted. It's not like super like, you know, G-Fisk killer attack weighted, but if the G-Fisk is not running like a rank 1, this tends to get the job done against it sometimes. But yeah, really strong team guys, works really well across the board, and again, like, it's just pretty obvious. Like, as soon as I seen this cup, the top like 5 Pokemon were normal, and you don't really like have the hardest checks to normal as well. I mean, you do have Blaziken, which I haven't come across yet. I don't think there's going to be that many Shadow Blaziken users with Legacy Stone Edge to watch out for, but you never know, I will find one eventually, and I do actually plan on running one quite soon, so keep an eye out for that. Anyway guys, we're a couple of minutes in here, hope you're all having a fantastic day. Sorry for the lack of uploads for the last couple of days. About 8 or 9 hours out of the last couple of days I've been stuck in a visa office or a city hall, getting documents and getting visas sorted out, so I've not really been able to upload for the last little while. I do have to say I enjoyed this meta quite a lot today. At the very least, using this team, it felt like the games really came down to energy management, swapping in and out of Pokemon at the right times, managing your shields correctly. It doesn't really feel like a super RPS cup, like, you're not seeing Torterra, Shadow Torterra with Razor Leaf, or you're not seeing like Razor Leaf Abomasnow, or you're not seeing any crazy fast move pressure teams like Mawel Firefanging you down. It's a meta made up of like a couple of really overpowered Pokemon, like definitely Noctowl's pretty overpowered. But I mean, apart from Noctowl, what else here is like real hardcore Great League meta? Of course Swampert is meta in the Great League, but for the most part, like you've got things like Double Will's a bit of an issue for this team. You'll probably see it coming up later on. I might lose this match here, but I think I'm coming in to go for the farm down with Diggersby. And again, like you're seeing this, like counter user versus normal type, but we're just eating all this, like we don't give a fuck. Like we don't care. We're just going to beat the Earthquake on the Swampert as well. Like even though this is about the worst match you can possibly have, the opponent calls it like an absolute champ, honestly. So at this point we're committed to baiting, so we're going to go for another probably Fire Punch here in a second. Try and get the Holler Shield off the opponent, or yeah, you know, do like 10 damage to it. We'll see what happens here. The opponent does let it go. I'm like, oh my god, please shield, please. At this point, like Fire Punches are adding up, so the opponent finally does shield something. If I had just went for an Earthquake, you know, I think I ended up losing this match. But it just goes to show you, like, sometimes when it's super obvious that the opponent has to shield, that's actually the worst time to bait, right? Because it's like, oh, you think I really have to shield here, so I'm not going to shield. That's pretty much how it goes. So I always like to full send the hard move, but I was just expecting a shield there, and we somehow still win it, actually, because Diggersby's just a thick boy. Diggersby is a chunky boy, and he just eats all the moves. In comes a Growth matchup again, so I'm probably going to go for a CMP on the Body Slam. The opponents, did they go for a CMP that time? It's really good if you can get CMP and win it, because it makes the opponent make the first choice. See, I decide here to let this go. I think in future matches I decide to shield it up. The opponent has to catch here, right? I decide to catch because I don't trust opponents to catch things, honestly, at this point. Because they can just let it go, right? And then come down and get a farm down. So what I decide to do is bank the Body Slam. And in this matchup here we're running Hyper Beam. So I think you're probably going to see like the benefits of Hyper Beam, but maybe in one of the later matches you'll see the disadvantage of it. So like I said, you can win this in even shields, going straight Fire Punch. That does a lot of damage, right? But like we cannot just no shield this and farm it down. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to go for Fire Punches anyway and match shields, or like you're gonna have to match a shield somewhere or another. So I just don't really see the point in it. What I decide to do here is come in and farm down. They just about do get to the Sky Attack. Of course, this is comfortable enough for me to eat. And you know, I just felt with this team, you mostly try to save shields for Vigoroth. In comes a Gliscor. This Pokemon's not easy to deal with. The good thing is we do have a shield. We get the opponent's second to last shield, and we're going to come in and go for a snipe on CMP with Body Slam. This could not have worked out any better. The opponent threw the move straight away, and at this point this Night Slash is going into the abyss. You absolutely love to see it. Now we're actually already at the Sky Attack, and we're just going to put the pressure straight on. I'm aware of a catch, but I thought that they won't expect it straight away. So what I'm going to do is farm up to the next one. Now here's a fun fact. With Sky Attack, it is 6, 6, and then 5. The opponent actually knew that because they caught on 5, but I was anticipating the catch. We just farm all the way down, and we've even got a Shadow Ball. What more could you ask for? Gliscor's a rough Pokemon to deal with, honestly, sometimes, because it's just super spammy. Of course, it knows Earthquakes. It kind of core breaks a lot of teams in this meta, so Gliscor might be one to look out for. I'm pretty sure I started out the day like quite negative. I think I went like 2-3, 3-2 or something, but as I learned the team a little bit more, I went very positive. I ended up going plus 120 ELO, so I'm up to about 2480 at this point. So hopefully tomorrow we're going to make a push for Veteran. Of course, tomorrow I will be using some different teams, but I think this will be a team that I fall back on. We do have Go Battle Day this weekend, and that'll allow us to do, what is it, like, how many sets is it? It's a lot, like 25 sets or something. So at that point I'm going to make my biggest push for Expert, or I'm not sure if I'll get Legend this season, but we'll see what sort of happens. We always have the Ultra League to fall back on as well. I do end up going for CMP here on Swampert, which is kind of dumb. I deliberately overfarmed and ended up CMPing anyway, so I actually go for a slight underfarm here, which is a perfect underfarm. Allows us to get one more wing attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The opponent could have CMP'd, but they did not CMP, and this will actually force them to use their final shield. At this point, this is great. We have a shield, and we're going to force them to dump it, because we're just going to do a ton of counter damage. And at this stage, even with the 15-15-15 Diggersby, we can just come in here and just start farming this thing down. We can actually just let anything go. The opponent goes for Bulldoze, and they come in with Noctowl. Can we still win this matchup right here? So we're all the way up to the Hyper Beam. Again, like, this is where you're seeing the benefits of Hyper Beam, being able to put in that extra damage against the Noctowl. But, you know, as you will see once again, we do have to shield it anyway. Maybe using Hyper Beam will be a little bit better if you're using the bulkier version of Diggersby, so maybe I'm just kind of underestimating it a little bit. We'll fire off this Fire Punch, take out the Noctowl. It's just basically a race. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they were just about to reach the Body Slam. So we were able to farm down. I wonder if I had the lower attack stat would I have been able to farm down. So there's, like, you know, pluses and negatives everywhere. We go for a body slam in the Noctowl. This is a good lead for Vigorove. In general though, I do sort of want to keep my Vigorove alive, so I'd be happy enough to like maybe let the first one go or shield the first one and then catch the second one, and we can get 2 body slams off before, I think that was a CMP actually I went for. So we'll make the opponent decide if they want to shield or not. Yeah, see, I don't like that play right there. I think you do want to catch the second one, and again, like, you're seeing me just sort of learning this team. Now we're already ahead on energy with this thing, so the perfect thing is we can go for body slam and hopefully force the opponent to throw energy. The opponent, I actually decide to keep my Vigorove with like a couple of counters off a body slam. This is not too bad because it'll take 3 Hydros to take us out here. So here's Hydro number 1, number 2 is going to be coming here quite soon. Here's Hydro number 2. Again, they cannot farm us down. We got a slight overfarm there, so we can go ahead and try and take it out with the Sky Attack. If the opponent shields up here, it means that they're probably weak to Noctowl in the back, which they do. And they, of course, outpace. Now, what I can actually do here is just farm down. But I decide I want to get the energy on Diggersby, hoping that an Earthquake can take out something. And the opponent still had a ton of energy. I'm thinking this is most likely the hardest hitting move left in the game for Diggersby. And we're going to go ahead and shield it up. I think that's about as good a shield as you can hope for, getting a Hydro Cannon shielded. In comes Stunfisk, and this is where Hyper Beam sucks. We're going to farm all the way up to the Earthquake and go for the Fire Punch bait. Little does the opponent know that we don't actually have it. Now we farm up, we try to go for catch, in comes Noctowl. And I thought about committing to this, but the way I was thinking about it is, I have to go for Fire Punches anyway, so any chip here is going to be super helpful. And the opponent CMP's on that as well, which is beautiful. I guess the opponent was afraid of us going for the Bulldoze. We have a Fire Punch loaded, and it's going to take 2 Earthquakes to take us out. The opponent shields up that first one, second Fire Punch coming through. All we need to do is basically outpace the 2 Earthquakes, which should be no problem whatsoever. The opponent will fire off the first one here, and you can comfortably tank 2 Earthquakes with the bulky Diggersby, but you cannot do it with this one, so I was getting a little bit scared at this point, but in hindsight that was pretty comfortable, and again, that's where Hyper Beam kind of messes you up a little bit. I did have a match against Steelix, which is a little bit more bulky, and having Hyper Beam was just an absolute nightmare. But speaking of nightmare, this is a nightmare lead for the opponent. I don't know what they're doing running Credillion in the lead. I guess they're trying to catch a Noctowl and go for Stone Edge, but we're actually catching the Noctowl and Vigorove. What I could do is go for 2 body slams, but I decide I'm going to go into Diggersby here, and we're going to chip it and make sure it's comfortable enough that we don't have to invest shields or anything. Again, this is still like the attack weighted one, that's why I'm taking so much damage from these Sky Attacks. But at this point, like, I could go double Fire Punch, but I think it might not take out, so I just go straight for the Hyper Beam. I decided to get some usage out of Diggersby, knowing that they have a Credillion in the front, and I think even with these super effective moves, we can still get off a Fire Punch, which will threaten a decent amount of damage, especially because it is, of course, the Shadow version. So we do get a nice little chip on this. These quick attacks are doing nothing, but we do get off the second Fire Punch. This just goes to show, like, even with bad IVs, Diggersby is so bulky. And at this stage, like, we can just come in with this Boyo. We're going to shield this up. I've lost a lot of matches by not shielding. The opponent goes for another one. And I'm like, I can eat 1 Grass Knot on this thing. I'm going to swap straight into Noctowl at this point and get rid of all the energy and all that kind of stuff. Now this is just a normal Swampert, guys. If you're using Swampert in this cup, it has to be Shadow. Like 1 Hydro Cannon doesn't get me below 50% health. You cannot farm me down into below 50% health. And 2 Sky Attacks will take out this Swampert. Or even like maybe Sky Attack plus Wing Attacks will get it out. You have to use the Shadow if you're going to use Swampert in this cup. We go straight for the second one here. So this is 12 2-turn moves. So they're about 3 off the next one here, or 2 off the next one or something. Struggling to count here on the spot. We actually decide to shield this up because we kind of need to get rid of it. And I'm going to go for the aggressive farm down on this. We just about did get the aggressive farm down, and we're going to go straight for a body slam. And we've actually banked a little bit of energy in the Noctowl. In a straight up match, this is bad for Vigorove, but if you get some sort of energy advantage, or, you know, do manage to start landing body slams, it is a lot different. And of course, we banked the energy on Noctowl before, leaving it in a position to get off a Sky Attack. The opponent could not overfarm because they can't really farm us down with Mud Shot, and we reach the moves in 5 every time. They do get it in 5 and 4, 5 and 4, but they just couldn't overfarm because of course we'll reach it soon enough. And we're up to 2407, so definitely at this point started having a little bit more success with the team. So at this point I went to the visa office, sat there for like 5 hours, came home and started playing these again. I went 3-2 in the first set, I came home, and then here we are with Ninetales. I believe this thing would win CMP, so I decided not to go for it, but I think that 1 body slam will get it really low, and I decide like I want to keep a counter user alive if possible. In these awkward matchups where you don't know what to do, you just kind of shield it and just go in with Diggersby and just eat whatever they have. We're just farming this thing down. Surprised I was able to get that farm down. They could have got off a Weller Ball, but I think they were committing to the overheat. And in comes Noctowl. So you'll see I've got 1473 CP, and I think this might be an attack weighted Noctowl because it's still doing like a decent amount of damage with wing attack. So we're just going to spam off a few of these, and we're back on the Earthquake vibe as well because, you know, it just wasn't cutting it earlier. Hyper Beam does not cut it. I might have excluded this Dalek matchup, but trust me, it went badly. So that's why you want to run Earthquake, just to make sure that you can one-shot what you need to one-shot. And look, like even against Vigoroth, you know, having Earthquake or Hyper Beam's fine, obviously. But, you know, it is really nice being able to do that. I decided to aggro swap in here, and they come in with their own Vigoroth. Now, I'm thinking I might be able to get off 2 body slams, which will threaten to take this thing out. So I might be able to get both shields off the opponent. The opponent does get greedy here. They could have went for a body slam. The opponent's getting greedy, going for the farm down. They're not managing the energy here. And at this point, I think, I'm not sure what I come in with, but I think coming in with Diggersby would be a bad idea. Yeah, so we come in here and we can just eat one of these. They're going to get to multiple body slams, and I'm thinking one body slam will do more than one sky attack. So here comes the second one. And at this stage, like, I'm not over farming. I want to try to retain as much health on this thing as possible. The body slam did not do that much. Will a sky attack do as much, if not more? It should be pretty similar nonetheless. But yeah, in comes their Noctowl. They have no way of winning this at this point. They have no catch. They're just staying in and just playing it out. But we will get to a sky attack here in time, and it's going to be good games to the opponent. So I guess, like, a pretty interesting match. You're not going to see this lineup that often with Ninetales, but I was definitely happy to see it. And we're going to hop into the next one here. So next matchup here, we have got Vigoroth versus Vigoroth. You'll see this 100 times if you're on this team. We'll see how we play it this time. We go straight for the body slam, and did the opponent catch it on something there? So I have to keep in mind that they've stored a body slam. We're going to do what we usually do and go for the second one here, and basically chip this Noctowl into a range where we can consider like farming it down or going for one Fire Punch and farming down. I think now that I'm using the bulky Diggersby, I'm a lot more comfortable just to farm this all the way down. Look how little that sky attack done. It'll take them like another 2 or 3 to take us out. So we can just farm this thing the whole way down, and we're going to come out with just 100 energy. I realized the opponent was going to get to another one, so I decided to go for Fire Punch just to get rid of it. And at this point, we can still eat some moves with Vigoroth. The opponent does go for Body Slam. I decided at this point I want to try and get shields down, because of course I have a spammy Vigoroth of my own, and I want to try and get off damage with that thing. EQ coming through, we go straight into Vigoroth, and I think we can just about outpace and the opponent to swap out. Now I'm just going to go straight for this Bulldoze here, before the opponent gets off the Fang, and this will threaten a lot of damage. It gets it extremely low. I think the Nidoqueen might not have realized or might have underestimated it. I'm forcing the opponent to throw here with Diggersby as well, and this is looking perfect for a Noctowl sweep. So in comes Noctowl. I'm hoping they don't get off the jab or the Fang, but they do get it off, and I'm like, no way, they're going to finesse me somehow with these body slams doing more damage, because they do have energy in this thing. So what I need to do is basically farm up to the back-to-back, which will be 12 wing attacks. They will need, you know, of course, 5 counters for each body slam. So I'm thinking this might be getting a little bit close depending on what energy was left. And we farm up to just before the back-to-back, and I'm hoping please don't CMP time me. They shield up the first one, and I think they might have been 1 or 2 off. They were just 1 or 2 off there, so it was a really, really close game. And to be fair, like, I think a lot of my games were like very close wins or very close losses, which is what I generally quite like with a team. Because it means that you're not just getting RPS'd, like a lot of the matches are up to you, and it comes down to the way you play the game. We've got Vigoroth versus Vigoroth. What way we're going to do it this time? Go for a CMP tie, I guess? Let's have a look. CMP tie it is. The opponent must not be confident in winning CMP. The opponent lets it go, and then we swap straight out. That's basically how we play that. If the opponent lets it go, or if they shield it, we swap straight out, and just try to basically reserve some health on the Vigoroth, and just eat whatever with Diggersby. And most oftentimes, like, this is their best answer to Diggersby. And we'll see if we can actually force a shield off the opponent at this point. And we're already ahead by 2 Fire Punches, basically. So, like, the opponent, they have a little bit of work to do. We're already getting them down just about into the yellow now, and the Sky Attack will not take out. We might even get 1 or 2 more Fire Punches off if the opponent decides to go for the farm down. I made a bad play here. I went for CMP. I mean, it's a good thing because, like, we're forcing the opponent for energy, but I should have just got off the Fire Punch. At this point, I'm just going to go straight for the Body Slam to take it out, and I think that was another CMP. That was the third Sky Attack on 5. That was a bit of a misplay by me, but hopefully it doesn't punish me too much. I decided to swap straight out, and in comes a Gliscor. This is looking to be a little bit tough here. I do go for the Overfarm to make sure I don't get CMP'd, and in comes Night Slash. Will they get the boost? They do not get the boost. Okay, we're good. And then they go for CMP, bro. I played so badly this match. I played really badly this match, so we'll see if I can overcome it with this team. Go for a Sky Attack, the opponent shields it up, and my switch timer is not quite here yet. I managed not to CMP this one, and this will threaten a lot of damage on the Shadow Gliscor. Now what I need to do is basically shield this up and maybe go for catch. We again CMP this, and I decide to let R2 shield it, try to take out the Skilliscore, and then come in and try and close it with Vigoroth. So this is definitely like a really unfortunate match, and I'm seeing here how like, yeah, the opponent's getting off a body slam. Will this do him enough damage, or will this be like a Semilcare or something? Yeah, so here's the funny thing. We can actually just about win this because we kept a little bit of health on Noctowl. Definitely really badly played match by me, but we just got lucky. Like, I mean, I don't even think I can call it luck though. It is just like a strong, bulky team in general. So like, it was lucky that I won it for sure, but it just sort of speaks to the power of this team where I misplayed it like 3 or 4 times there, and was able to win it nonetheless. In comes Body Slam on the Noctowl. Again, like, you can eat one Sky Attack. I decided to go for a catch here. We'll see what the opponent does. Will they stay in or will they swap out? I'm happy enough just to eat all the energy in this Diggersby. That's what Diggersby is here for. Big Bunny Boy is just here to eat all the Sky Attacks and see what's in the back. And we're going for an overfarm here. I'm actually playing a little bit better this time, didn't go for the CMP tie. And we get off that, and at this point I'm happy enough to let this go. I'm feeling like I can eat a Sky Attack and farm it all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, they were just about to reach it. And we'll get off a Fire Punch and something. But we're not even going to go for the Fire Punch, the opponent goes for like a Peekaboo play. This is okay though, because Earthquake does more raw damage anyway. If I'm only going to get off one move, you would rather it be the Earthquake, but the opponent better count themselves lucky I'm not running Hyper Beam anymore. And we decide just to eat the Brave Bird. I know I can eat a Brave Bird on Noctowl comfortably, and this will just take it out. Like, if they shield it, they're kind of messed up. And here's the thing with this, right? I could decide to go for shield, but I decide, okay, I'm going to go in with Vigoroth. The thing about shielding the Noctowl here is like I would get off a Shadow Ball, which would put in substantial damage. But I decide my fast moves are doing more damage than them, hopefully. But this thing is actually quite bulky. Like, you're seeing this thing is getting me quite low. And we can spam off Body Slams, but they can out-spam us with Mud Bombs. So like, this is not comfortable. These Pokemon that do 5-4, 5-4, like Swampert, and this Pokemon with the Mud Bombs, of course, like Whiscash, they're not comfortable for Vigoroth. Just in general, if you're getting outpaced to moves, it's not comfortable for Vigoroth, even with the more oppressive fast move damage. So at this point, like, I pretty much need to make a catch, I feel like. Actually, in hindsight, I don't think I do need to make a catch. I think this is where I throw the game here. I don't think I needed to make the catch, right? Because let's have a look how far away I am from the Body Slam. That Discharge does not take out. I was one off the Body Slam, so I threw the match by going for a catch. So, you know, you don't always have to go for a catch. You don't always have to. I overestimated the damage, and I thought that 1 would get me super, super low. So that's why I went for the catch. But in hindsight, if I ever get in that situation again, I'll know that I don't need to. And guys, we're up there to 2478. Definitely played pretty decently today. A few pretty bad misplays towards the end, but you know, that's what happens sometimes. I'm hopefully going to make a push into Veteran tomorrow, and thank you everybody for watching the video. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. And let me know what teams you're running in this cup, and let me know if you're enjoying it. Thank you very much everybody, and I'll catch you all next time.